You're streaming the music for free, but
Okay.
they getting that money some type of way because you're listening to their music,
Mm-hmm.
so they have to make sure that their ins and outs are set up right, as far as paperwork or being signed up with simple things like your writing, your publishing with BMI, ASCAP, shit like that. You want to make sure that you have things in order so you can get paid some type of way. Even when it comes to YouTube, we have these free
Mm-hmm.
platforms,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You can literally make money off of all these platforms and Facebook.
Mm.
So put your music on here, get music from it, like promote it, put $5 into it, and the return is better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's simple things like that. Just make sure your paperwork is right when you're signing up for these streaming websites and things like that.
By listening to my guests share how they are discovering their best self, you will discover the best part of you.
And welcome back to Discover Your Best Self podcast. Y'all, today I have with me Cooley Knows Best. Yes, I do. And she is an independent A&R, but also talent manager. And so we want to get into how did you even get started in this, especially your own independent, being independent and going after an artist, right? And so, but before we do that, I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce herself and tell us, where you're from and how you got started.
What up, y'all? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank
today.
you.
I'm Cooley. Cooley knows best. I do a whole lot of cool shit. I'm from Houston, Texas, Southwest side to be exact, but Mo City, made me pretty much. That's how I say it. Southwest made me, Mo City raised me. My bad. But how I got into it is just my influence behind me. Growing up, my dad, he was really into music. My uncles, they were really into music. If you guys don't know, my uncle also started Rap A Lot Records.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Having the influence of Rap A Lot as well, my cousin Jazz, him getting Drake started, it was just all around me.
So that's a huge Houston influence.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Did you say Houston in the beginning?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay, gotcha. So everybody knows that's a big Houston deal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I've always done music. I used to be the artist. I used to be, everything. Anytime the teacher in school wanted somebody to sing a solo, it was me. Who they chose in church, same thing. But as I grew older after school, even I think my senior year in high school, I started liking the business side of things. I didn't like, being the artist. I'd be like, man, this is too much work. Like having to sit in the studio.
So
and
being
learn
the
music,
artist, you felt like it was more work.
It was more
the
work
business
to me.
side.
Yes,
That's
more than the business side. And I don't like having to be in the forefront all the time. I like negotiating. I like saying, my artist needs this, my artist needs that, because I would see that artists lack so much of that. They were talented, but they lacked the business side. So somebody had to do it. Somebody needs to do it. And how I started getting into that side was my cousin. He rapped at the time, and he got me into the studio. And he was like, you need to do business. I started managing him. I had a gospel group, and also a group signed to Matthew Knowles at Music World. Lady Luck, she was actually my substitute teacher. She allowed me to be their personal assistant. So that's how I got into the game too.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So, but before you actually made this, like, because this is one of your main businesses, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if y'all don't know, she has many businesses. She's what you call one of those serial entrepreneurs, and and so the way that you were able to do this, how did you do that? Because we kind of had a brief conversation before, and you said that you were able to fund this business before, and I like to get into the nitty gritty because a lot of people, they don't understand the steps or the process to do what it is that you want to do in life. And so what did that process look like before you were able to actually pursue this full time?
What it looked like was people didn't even know I had a 9 to 5 every day. I worked in a dentist office. I feel like some people still don't know that. If you're one of my close friends, then every single day at 8 a.m. I was in that dentist office doing shit that I did not want to do.
Right.
And I just knew from there, like, man, I'm better than this. I can do better than this. But you, with music, you have to fund that career. Money just doesn't fall out of the sky. If it's not handed to you, then you have to go and get it. You got to get it out the mud. So in order for me to do what I need to do, I had to work jobs that I didn't want to work, that I wasn't happy with. I had to do a lot of things for free just so people could earn my respect and shit in the industry. So that's how that was.
I love that you said that you had to fund.
Yeah.
what this was for that to make money.
Absolutely.
So when you say that, because I've had other friends, they've either had other smaller businesses or businesses that they really didn't like,
right,
to be able to pursue the one that they're making the most out of, but that took a long time to build.
Right.
So, just give us like a time frame of maybe how long it started taking before you actually were able to say, you know what, I'm actually making something and able to use that as income now for the music. Yeah.
So, in between these gaps, I'm gonna give you the timeline, but in between these gaps, just know it was a lot of up and down. Yeah. I did try leaving the job at the dentist office, and then I had to go back as well. I moved to LA, right? I lived in LA. I tried that, but I wasn't ready for it at the time. But let me see. I graduated school in 2007. I pretty much told my family owned a restaurant at the time, so I would be at the restaurant from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I told my family, like, when do y'all think I'm going to class?
Right.
So I am a college dropout. I knew what I wanted to do. I dropped out of school, maybe second semester of college. I was like, yeah, nah, Pops, it's not for me. So graduated school 2007. So 2007 up until maybe 2019, that's when I started reaping the benefits of my labor. So y'all do the math. Y'all see in between. That's a lot of time. That's a lot.
Years.
That's more than 10 years. That's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of time, but consistency and staying faithful to your craft is key. There's so many things that I've started and given up on, but one thing that I've never given up on is music. Nobody can take that shit from me.
What made you want to keep doing it, even though you felt like you had those ups and downs, and a lot of people they quit. They're like, you know what? I mean, 10 years for some people, most people actually,
it's a lot.
They're not gonna keep going.
Yeah, but when you're in love with something, it's just like being in a relationship. When you're in love with something and you love something deeply, you're going to continue fighting for it. You're not gonna give up. And I love music deeply. It's my one love that I know will not leave me. So why the hell I'm gonna leave it? So that's why I kept staying at it. Like, man, I'm not giving up. Like, I have to. And then you get to a point to where you feel like I got to prove to these motherfuckers I've been talking about the whole time. I've been showing them that I can do it. Yeah, it's an ego thing. It's my pride. Like, I've showed you what I can do, so let me finish the race at this point. Yeah.
No, that makes total sense. So your first artist that you started with on your own, maybe this is the person that you went out and got on your own, maybe you didn't have like that introduction. What was that feeling like, and what did that look like?
Man, that feeling was like, damn, I'm trying to see. So before it was just one artist, I managed a gospel group. And what that felt like to me was, man, I can put people together. Like, I can actually bring artists together and we do something, and they're listening to me. It's a great feeling. That's when I started booking shows. I think I booked like 2 shows for us within maybe like the first month or so. And I'm like, damn, like,
what does that entail? Booking shows? Like, when you do that, is it you have to put together the venue? It's like getting together with other.
So you find out what type of events are going on. So like I was saying, it was a gospel group. So of course, I grew up in the church, so you hear about these different gospel concerts that are going on in the city, or maybe if they're having like a show at a church or something. You just try and get on this show as well. And we actually got paid for that show. We got paid like $60. But I'm like,
but listen, when somebody pays you, you're like, okay, this is a transaction.
This is a transaction. I'm getting paid $60 to bring me and my team to come sing. Oh yeah, we going.
Something we was gonna do anyway. Like,
yeah, we was gonna sing by ourselves anyway. So why not come do it for $60?
Nice.
Buy y'all some snacks or something.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, nice. So then once you did that, you're like, okay, now let me get my leverage to get my next artist, right? Yeah. And the reason why I'm going through this is because I think a lot of times when we're thinking about the process of what we want to do or getting that first step, people don't recognize that there is a true beginning, right? And then they're like, you know what, how do I get to that first step? Who do I call first, right? And just you breaking down saying like, okay, I knew that, there's art, there are concerts that are coming up. This is what I need to do. This is what happens. Then that gives you fuel for the next thing.
Absolutely.
So like, what was your when you felt like, okay, you know what, this is what I really can do this, like your big moment you felt like?
My big moment, I felt like I was working with my boy Ken Randall from Mo City, and I actually got him signed to my cousin Jazz over at YEMG. Shout out to the gang. Young Empire Music Group, Rep a Lot Records ties. So I got Ken signed to Jazz, and that's when I felt like, you know what, even though this is my cousin, this is an easy plug, at least he believed in me enough and believed in my artist enough to, you know, put a contract in our face and see what we can do. So that's when I really felt like, let me mash the gas, like let me go a little bit harder. And we started releasing music and shit, and it was getting good feedback from the city. So that's when I really felt like, yeah, I can't stop. And this was maybe in 2011, 12, maybe.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah.
So as you're doing this, I know you mentioned you had a couple other businesses. You know, what does that look like for someone who has, you know, multiple things going on and balancing their time and figuring out what's most important to make sure that you're not losing in different areas?
What it looks like is having a team around you. When it comes to music, I know that that's all me.
Okay.
I know that I can do that. But when it comes to the different entities and the different businesses, such as the funeral home and stuff, like I was explaining to you, just because I may do business there, I'm not necessarily the face of this company. So I don't have to be there at all times. Easy phone call. I tell people my car is my office. Like you wanna call me, the best time to call me is while I'm in the car driving, because it's my office. That's when I'm able to do the most. But that's how I work through it, having a team around me. Like this person does this person does this, and not crossing toes, but also not being big enough for any position. Anybody can play any part, but also being a team and understanding this is what I do and that's what you do too.
Yeah. So how do you see yourself growing as this entrepreneur, right? With, you know, you being independent, but then also having all these other, you know, things moving around you.
I'm self-made. I'm a boss. I'm a boss. Like I'm self-made. It's nothing that I cannot do.
Right.
I tell my friends like, shit, if y'all need me to be a doctor, like what I got to do? Read a book. I'm gonna do it. Like it's, you know, it's easy for me. Like I can do anything. I'm not listen.
Okay.
Whatever it is, I can do it. I'm not tripping. All you got to do is learn it.
That's true.
That's true.
And I think a lot of people don't want to do the learning part. You know, what do you think it is about people who they say they want to do things, they have all this passion, but then they don't do it.
They don't execute it. It could be nerves, you know, fear. It could be people around you talking you out of it as well. You know, just because that I've been successful thus far, you know, there's still people around, not around me now, but you know, in the past around me that would also talk me out of, man, you shouldn't do that. Let me tell you how to do it this way. Nah, I'm gonna do it my way. You know, so when you have too many opinions around you at time, that could also stop you as well from executing, because you're pretty much telling somebody your plan and they're telling you what you should do. No, just do it your way.
Right.
You got to knock your head. If you fall, get back up again, try it again. But you know, it could be fear of execute, you know, it could be opinions around you, all of that. That stops people from doing what they're supposed to do.
What does your personal life look like? Like, is it just intertwined with business?
Nah, absolutely not. I separate the two. But also a lot of my personal friends, you know, we do business together too, because I'm also a believer in, hey, we talking every day, we this close, we gotta get some money together.
We gotta
like the fuck we doing here? Like we gotta get some money together. Right. You're my friend, but I want us to get some money together. I want you to grow, I want me to grow. Like we gotta see each other at the top.
Yeah.
So
no, I like. It seems like you're probably like the motivator.
Other friends, I'll be like, hell no, we're doing this. I'm the creator. I think of everything too. I'll be like, listen, I told my best friend an idea the other day. She like, bet we gonna do it. I'm like, listen, ain't no time to stop. Like all we got is room every day. Every day God gives us a brand new day. We waking up. Yes, a brand new opportunity. What are you gonna do with that opportunity?
What would you say to people who may feel like overwhelmed, right? Because so you have all these projects going at once and you're like, man, do I just stop and focus on one thing, or do I execute on all these projects? You know, when you're running and you're really wanting to perform.
Don't listen to me. Don't listen to my advice with that. People tell you focus on one thing. Me, I be focused on like 6 things at one time, but I get it done. Some way, somehow I get it done. But that's just the way my mind works. Everybody doesn't work that way. Okay. Everybody works different. So you find what works best for you, and that's the way you do your shit. Yeah. But if one thing works for you, then do that. But for me, I can do like 5 or 6 things at one time.
Okay.
I can be up here messing with the jewelry shit, you know, telling them my idea. I can be at the funeral home telling an idea. I can be on the phone with my artist, like.
And that's what it is.
That's what I'm telling you, a phone call. You don't have to see me. That's why we got phones these days.
It makes things a lot easier, I will say that. Yeah. And do business, I mean, just the way that technology has advanced with phones. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so tell me more about you know, where you see the A&R business going.
So where I see I'm so passionate about the A&R business, independent A&Rs like myself that aren't signed to a major label.
Right.
But I believe that we are the front runners and the street runners of getting the music out. Where I see A&Rs, the A&R business going to, you know, is more A&Rs actually wanting to start labels. Like, you know, I believe that most of us have a passion for being in the studio and shit, but I think honestly that turns over into, okay, now I want more. You know, now I want to start my own label and shit. So that's where I see it going.
Do you think that because we have, you know, like iTunes and people can release and, you know, be their own, I don't know, manager. I'm not in the music industry, but when an artist comes out and they're not necessarily represented, it leaves so much more opportunity for people to do what they want. But how does the money work? I'm confused at how do artists make money now, because I can stream music for free, or my subscription to iTunes is like $5 or whatever it is, right?
You're streaming the music for free, but they getting that money some type of way because you're listening to their music, you know, so they have to make sure that their ins and outs are set up right, you know, as far as paperwork of being signed up with simple things like your writing, your publishing, with BMI, ASCAP, shit like that. You know, you want to make sure that you have things in order so you can get paid some type of way. You know, even when it comes to YouTube, we have these free platforms, you know, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You can literally make money off of all these platforms and Facebook. So put your music on here, you know, get music from it, like promote it, put $5 into it, and the return is better. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's simple things like that. Just make sure your paperwork is right when you're signing up for these streaming websites and things like that.
And if an artist is looking for someone to represent them or help them, what are the things that, you know, stands out about you, or what is it they should be looking for in the
A&R? So me, for instance, I feel as if artists should never look for a manager. I'm always an advocate for let the management find you. You know, if you're working hard enough and you're being consistent, they will find you. But what it looks like is believing in yourself too. You gotta believe in yourself enough for the A&R and manager to even want to fuck with you. You know, like, what are you putting in enough time for yourself? Are you recording? You know, ask the people around you. Don't ask the yes men around you, but ask the people around you, you know, what does this sound like? Yeah, I feel like you should have honest people around you enough to get your shit out in order for people to recognize you.
Right. No, I think that's really good. And so here in Houston, I don't think you're just local, right? Because I think I've seen you with a couple other people. But how does it look for you, you know, when you're looking for a new artist and they're not located in Houston and you're you know, looking just for somebody good?
Somebody good. Social media. Listen, I was on Instagram. I'm like, man, I need an R&B artist because my heart is church and R&B. Like, I like good singers. You know, I just got into this whole rapping thing a few years ago, but when it comes to R&B and artists, you know, that's my true love. So I was on Instagram. I'm like, man, I need an artist. I need an R&B artist. Something told me there's this hashtag on Instagram with unsigned artists. There's a shitload of artists all over the world, and I found this one chick. Yeah, use your hashtags. Like, even when people are labels, you know, are looking for artists, they click on that hashtag too, because it can be somebody in the UK with 5.8 million followers that we never heard of over here, and they dope as fuck over there, you know. So I found this one chick in Philly, K Amira, fell in love with her, dope as hell, you know, and I found her strictly off Instagram.
Instagram is where it's at.
And I met her and her mom like the next week. So social media is a lot. You can find artists, you can find managers, you can literally tap in with anybody you want to off social media.
Definitely.
You can feel connected to them. I feel like I can call Diddy right now on the gram and be like, what up, bro? So, you know.
That's true. I find a lot of my guests from Instagram and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely use what's free to you, because who knows when they're going to start charging, if they ever do.
Facts.
So, yeah, I mean, so I love this story about, where we started, how we got there, and then also, where you see yourself. For you, it just seems like belief is the main source, right?
Absolutely.
And so one of the questions that I ask everybody who comes on to the show, which is, how do you continue to discover your best self?
Man, that's a good question. Damn, you should have told me you was gonna ask me that question. How do I continue to discover my best self? Staying faithful to myself.
I like that.
Talking to God. God will lead you. Whatever direction you want to go, if you just talk to him and you stay faithful to him, he will literally lead you. So I feel like that's how and the prayers around me, the people before me, they prayed for me to be here. That's how I continue to be my best self. Yeah. My mama's prayers.
Hey.
My mama's prayers.
Ancestors.
Right.
Where are ancestors?
Yes.
Greatest.
What is it? Greatest. Ancestors are greatest what?
Where are ancestors greatest? I can't think of what it is right
she don't
now.
Know.
I can't think, and I had posted it before
what is
too.
It? I don't know, but I know my grandma in heaven praying for me, goddamn.
Wildest dreams.
Right, wildest dreams. There
Jesus.
We go. Wildest dreams.
Where our ancestors' wildest dreams, standing right here. This is what they want. Yes.
I have heard that. Because this is what they want. Exactly.
I don't know why I couldn't get that out for a second. Anyway, that's what we are.
Right.
But no, I really appreciate this. Breaking it down, because I think that, when we get into what we're doing, our roles, and we get so caught up in what do people think of me? What do people want me to be? Instead of, like you said, you came home, you're like, school ain't for me. That's not what I want to do. And I think that that's okay. And honestly, now the more that I've been talking to different people, and schools are having a really hard time competing with some of these entrepreneurial workshops, and people wanting to have their own businesses, and how are they going to compete? So now they're offering so many different things. Oh, and one more question I wanted to ask you, which was, how do you continue to stay great at what you do? Do you study? I know you talked about learning.
Absolutely.
But what type of continuous learning do you invest in yourself?
So I look up to certain people in the music industry.
Okay.
Whether it's the people around me, I'm gonna shout some of them out. Chill, Dre Berry, Brandy McCole. These are charges to my heart and not my head. I mean, charges to my head and not my heart if I forgot anybody. But these are certain influences around me who allow me, to learn more. Even when it comes to like new interviews from Diddy or Jay-Z or L.A. Reid, this is type of shit that I'm interested in. So this is what I'm going to read. This is what I'm going to study. Like I said, social media literally gives you the game. All you got to do is tap into it.
Yeah.
So I look at different A&Rs, people who do the same thing that I want to do. I study them and make it better, because everybody does the same thing in the world, right? But how you gonna make it better?
Right. I mean, you can go down the bread aisles, a million different types of bread. I mean,
but I'm gonna choose Miss Bear.
You gonna choose it?
No, I'm gonna choose this one. Shit.
Yeah. So thank you so much for deciding to be on Discover Your Best Self podcast show, y'all. Tell them where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Cooley Knows Best _ because some nigga didn't want to sell me his page, so I had to put the underscore. And you can find me on Twitter at Cooley Knows Best. I don't tweet that much, but I'm trying to get into it. Hit me up. Yes. Send me some music. Send me some beats. CooleyKnowsBest@gmail.com.
If y'all know it's somebody undiscovered, they need to be discovered.
Hit me up.
And send them.
Send them to me, please.
Thank you so much. Continue to follow Discover Your Best Self on Instagram, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't been able to subscribe, so that you can get all of your updates, and you can hit that notification bar so you can get notified when all your brand new favorite shows are being posted. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Discover Your Best Self. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Follow us on Instagram at Discover Your Best Self.